Welcome, I'm Taryn, and today I want to share with you a deep core connection practice where the focus will be on pelvic floor and a little bit of pelvic floor connection and some pelvic movement as well. So I will be demonstrating on this yoga mat. If at home you don't have one, you can simply lay out a towel or just place yourself in a comfortable position. We will start laying on our backs with the knees bent up and the feet flat onto the floor. And to begin with, we're just going to keep the feet about hip distance apart. And you can take the hands just to relax by your side or into any position that feels good. Sometimes it feels good to connect with the pelvis, so perhaps taking the hands into an inverted triangle and resting them just above or onto the pubic bone, and the palms of the hands fall onto the pelvis. And just beginning to connect with your breath. Perhaps it feels good to close down the eyes. Begin to breathe in and out through the nose if that feels good for you. Then first just take a connection with your breath. So feeling into the breath as it passes down the back of the throat and feeling the breath as it begins to massage the throat with each inhale and each exhale. And then bring some awareness to the rib cage with each breath in, feeling that beautiful expansion of the rib cage. And with each breath out, feeling the softening, the letting go. So just tuning in to the movement of the rib cage just for a couple of breaths. And then perhaps bring your awareness to the abdomen. And doing the same, just breathing into the belly, feeling the belly bulge with each breath in, allowing for the breath, and then that very gentle drawing inward of belly button towards the spine with each breath out, but without any particular contraction, just noticing how the body moves with the breath. Staying there with a couple of breaths. And then taking the breath all the way down into the pelvic bowl. So deep breath in and imagining the breath coming all the way into the base of the pelvis, directing it towards the pubic bone, the perineum, the place between the vagina and the anus, and all the way into the sit bones, feeling the breath fill the pelvis. Inviting softness, and then just beginning to start to rock the pelvis forwards and backwards. And perhaps it feels better to take the hands from the pelvis and just rest them by the sides. And just inviting some smoothness of movement here. Soft and gentle. And taking the range of movement that feels good. So if it feels more resonant to you to keep a smaller, subtler range of movement, stay with that. Or if it feels good in your body to bring a bit more of a larger range of movement, take that option. So this is all about tuning into your body and feeling what feels good and resonant for you. And then perhaps taking some circular motions of the pelvis. without too much direction. Just inviting whatever feels good in your body, and then taking that in the other direction. Then coming to rest somewhere in the middle. We take a squeeze around the anus, drawing inward and upward of the pelvic floor. Continue to breathe and just hold that contraction. And then fully releasing and letting go. And as you release, just feeling for the relaxation, the softening of the pelvic floor, tuning into the sit bones, just feeling them soften, let go, tuning into the glutes and to the inner thighs, just inviting softness. And then again, taking a squeeze around the anus, activating the pelvic floor, holding that contraction as you continue to breathe. Releasing, softening. Again, tuning in to inner thighs, glutes, sit bones, lower abdomen, inviting softness, and perhaps you do want to take a little bit of touch to the body if that feels good. No right or wrong, just simply being with this space in your body and having a bit of time here. Again, last contraction, squeeze around the anus and holding. Continue to breathe. Just soften through the jaw, relax. And then releasing that contraction, fully letting go. And this time I invite you to step the feet as wide as your mat or your towel, whatever you're laying on, or at least wider than the hips. And let the knees fall into each other. And just feeling in this position, perhaps you want to rock the pelvis forward and backwards just to tune in a little. And then again, taking a squeeze around the anus, activating the pelvic floor, feeling for the difference in the movement and how that feels different in your body. Maintain the breath. Release that contraction, fully let go, tuning in to the hips, glutes, lower abdomen. And then again, squeeze around the anus, pelvic floor, activation, holding. Release the tension that may be held in the jaw, soften through the face, soften through the shoulders. Fully release and let go. Deep belly breath in between each contraction. And again, squeeze around the anus, hold the maximal contraction of the pelvic floor. Release, let go. A little bit of pelvic rocking, pelvic movement. And then perhaps bringing the feet to touch and the knees to fall wide, and just allowing some release through the inner thighs. And again, you might like to take that inverted triangle position of the hands and placing onto the pelvis. Perhaps a little rock side to side, just gentle. And then again, squeeze around the anus, holding that contraction. Remember to soften through the jaw, soften through the shoulders, relaxing the body and releasing that contraction. And the practice really being to feel the different positions and notice how it feels different in your body to activate your pelvic floor and feel into the pelvis in different positions, and also noticing how your body might respond with particular areas of tension and how you are able to both activate the pelvic floor and relax as well. Again, maximal contraction, holding the pelvic floor squeeze. Notice the tension, relaxing. Full letting go, releasing of that activation. Breathing into the belly, perhaps a little massage, a little bit of a rub, reminder to relax and soften. And again, last activation in this position, squeezing around the pelvic floor. And if you do notice some tension coming through the chest and the shoulders, the jaw, perhaps going back to that breath and feeling the in-breath and the out-breath massaging at the back of the throat. Perhaps feeling the heart space and inviting the heart to just to rest heavy onto the support beneath you. Releasing the contraction. Breathing into the belly. Using the hands if needed to support and assist the knees to come back up. Taking any movement that feels good, that feels called for in the body. Again, no right or wrong. This is about tuning into your body and feeling how the movement and the activation feels for you. Perhaps you want to take a little stretch into the inner thighs. Another beautiful way to stretch and release is to take the feet to the floor and just take the hands between the buttocks and pull away the flesh. And so perhaps just taking some breaths into the perineal space. Filling into that pelvic bowl. And then resting and relaxing for as long as feels good for you. And that is the practice, to simply come down into this space, to begin activating the pelvic floor and just experimenting with different positions and seeing how you respond and how that feels different in your body. Thank you for joining me. And keep watching for more videos on my YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. See ya.